Welcome back, y'all. So this is the follow-on to the factory wideband mod on the STI, showing proof of concept that it actually works. My opinion, before we get into it, it works. However, I wouldn't call it quite as responsive as, say, a innovative wideband or an AEM. And there are limitations. It does not read below around 11.14 AFR. So it took me a while to actually get the car running to where I could actually read during wide open throttle, because it was running so rich that it was just pegged out through the entire pole. I'm going to go through this now. Hopefully y'all can see this. So if you pay attention, this is during a pull. This is the AFR column, and as you can see, you may or may not be able to see. It says, basically 11.14 through most of the pull. Every now and then it leans back out, and this is after several iterations of trying to lean it out. When I first started, it was 11.14 pretty much throughout the entire pole, so it was just pegged rich. But even still, the majority of through the RPM range during a wide open throttle pull, it was still pegged rich. To give a better visual representation, so as you can see here, the AFR is 11 flat right there, and throughout the majority of the pull, it was at that level. So it was just not reading any lower. Not exact, but to give you a better of what it's at now. I'm still playing with it. Got still a few more tweaks to do as far as tip in and whatnot, and there's one spot I think I'm gonna clean it up some, but for the most part, I like using virtual dyno because it actually graphs it versus the data log viewer in Cobb. But oh, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I had to remember how to unzoom it actually. So as you can see, I can pull it up in data log viewer, but for the most part, it's around between 11.5. It's fluctuating around 11.5, which is what I have targeted. If you want to see, I'm targeting 11.47. When you put in 11.5, that's what it goes to right now throughout most of the pull. And that's what we are, for the most part, getting. If I go to that data log, and this takes a while. I'm not really a big fan of using the data log viewer. This native to Cobb, it's kind of, all it does is open it in an Excel, and an Excel-like spreadsheet. I'd rather have a visual graph like virtual dyno, but it does give you the cut dry numbers. So as you can see, it's hovering between 11.48, dips a little rich there, but it shows that yes, it actually does work as a tuning tool. And as you can see, if you look at the numbers, so this one, I had about, get the weight there, and here, yeah, so as you can see, my peak didn't really change on this, but I did pick up, and it doesn't really show that I picked up power, but I actually had to tweak the boost and some other things, and this isn't exact because these are separate days anyway. It's not SAE corrected or anything. But when I first started, if I go back to that data log, I have to pull it up, and I'll pull it up in Virtual Dyno. When I first started, I think it was there. And I'll tell you what, rather than me, well, I could pull it up really quick. Third gear, most of these are in third gear. Okay, so that's actually looks to be an E85. No, that's, yeah, that's we'll get rid of that one. Well, so more or less the story, when I first started, I don't remember which data log it was, but I was roughly right at 305 horsepower and like 320 foot-pounds of torque. So it did pick up some by leaning it out and going that way. I also had to fiddle with it actually, well, I'll just showing y'all all that, but it does work as a tuning tool. If you want to use it that way, there are limitations. Like I said, it doesn't read down and below about 11.14, which is fine, I think, because when you if it's there, you just know you need to lean it out a little bit, because really, there's no real reason to go that lean or that rich anyway. So once you get it above that threshold, you could actually, it does have pretty good resolution. I wouldn't say it's as responsive as a aftermarket one, but I like it. I may just go ahead and keep using it. It works fine for E85 as well. It did show me some things on my E85 side that I was hitting like a clip more or less. I was going over the load for the fuel table, so I had to rescale my fuel table, and once I did, it fixed the issue. But it works, and it's cheaper than going with an aftermarket, setup to where you have, in order to have to do all this funky stuff with CAN bus or extra wiring to be able to data log with it. So it's the factory wideband, and when you get it out of the positive pressure side of the exhaust manifold, it actually does read during wide open throttle. So anyway, that'll conclude this video. Just wanted to show that if anybody's actually tuning themselves and was looking for a cost efficient way of tuning your air fuel ratios without spending another $500 or so, you could do this. And even if it's just a temporary, I think it's good to go. So anyway, till next time, I'll be back, y'all.